2011. You see, before then I knew about them, but we were usually in session and I didn't have the money, and so I skipped it. But I think I came a couple of times, but it was in 2011 that I arrived as Democratic leader, as minority leader. And I remember thinking about why I stood for leader in the first place. You see, if you remember, 2010 wasn't a good year for Democrats. We lost every statewide office. We lost the Senate to a supermajority, and the House was soon to follow, they thought. We were heading into a census redistricting year, and things looked bleak. But I was reminded that Democrats had run the state for 130 years and done a damn good job. And so it seemed that it was okay if we had to let somebody do some work for a while, okay. But my responsibility, joining the House of Representatives, joining the leadership of the Democratic Party in Georgia, was to make sure that they had a short-term lease on life. And in 2018, they got their eviction notice. You see, in 2018, I did not become the governor of Georgia. I'm aware of that, despite what Breitbart believes. I can count the 1.4 million people purged by the cartoon villain who ran for governor against me. I can count the 214 precincts closed under his watch. I can count the Quitman 10+2 who were put in prison because he lied about them. I can count the 4 hours, the average time that black men and women had to stand in line because that man under-resourced the counties doing the job of running our elections. I can count the 80,000 people who called our hotline complaining about losing their right to vote in the state of Georgia. And I can count to 2020 because that's when they're getting out of here. I'm a daughter of the South. I was raised in Mississippi by Robert and Carolyn Abrams. My parents are here with us tonight. My dad went to jail helping register people to vote when he was a teenager. My mother did the same work, she just managed not to get caught. But I was raised by men and women who taught me that winning isn't always about getting what you want. It's about getting what you need. And what we needed in 2018 was a transformation in Georgia. And that's what we built. You see, together in 2018, we centered communities of color, even though we were told we weren't supposed to talk about the fact that Georgia is becoming more and more diverse. We centered the disadvantaged and the marginalized. I marched with a lot of my friends in gay pride parades in Atlanta and in Augusta. I went to mosques. I went to where they filmed Deliverance. They would be stripped from their families by an unfeeling and xenophobic leadership in DC. I went all across this state, and despite the myths, it worked. Because you see, we were able to center communities of color. We were able in 2018 to triple Latino turnout, triple Asian Pacific Islander turnout, triple those numbers. We increased youth participation rates that we're told millennials and Generation Z won't vote, but we increased their participation by 139%. And we've been told that all the black people in Georgia voted for Obama and we hit our ceiling. Well, I want to remind you that in 2014, 1.1 million Democrats showed up in Georgia to vote for governor. In 2018, 1.2 million black people voted for me. Numbers to understand what's going on. And so you should know the numbers that transformed Georgia. Because not only did we increase participation in every community of color, we increased white participation on the Democratic side of the ticket for the first time in a generation. That's what we were able to do. We moved the state forward. but by embracing who we are and who we will be. We moved the state forward by forcing them to compete in places they didn't know existed. But more importantly, we made ourselves competitive by talking about issues we refused to acknowledge a few years before. You see, I went to a gun show in Georgia and talked about gun safety and got a standing ovation. Because if you know how to shoot, you know who's responsible. And you know that gun safety is not something we have to be quiet about in the state of Georgia. I talk about abortion because health care is a right in the state of Georgia, and it will be a right as long as we fight for it. We talk about Medicaid expansion because you cannot fix health care with a wish and a prayer, while we give up billions of dollars to other states. And we talk about the issue of climate change because I like breathing. We proved in 2018 that we could talk about our issues, and we could talk to our friends and our opponents, and we could make change. And because of that, we made a dramatic change in Georgia. It took them 10 days to call that election. 10 days to finalize their appropriation of the numbers. It took 10 days for me to write my non-concession speech. Because, you see, I acknowledge the legal sufficiency of the numbers in 2018, but I will never acknowledge the rightfulness of the laws that made it so. And by not conceding and refusing complacency, we have created space for more to come for Georgia. And so I like to say this both with a smile and with a sincerity. Despite my not having the title of governor, I'm here to tell Steve Hinson and Bob Trammell, who've been managing a slightly larger caucus in the last few years. I'm here to tell those who have joined the ranks of the elected across the state of Georgia. I'm here to tell those who think that they're going to win next year in 2018, we won. We won. Because Republicans shouldn't have had to fight so hard to keep us quiet. We won because Sam Park is sitting in the legislature. We won because we win is sitting in the legislature. We won because Betsy Holland is sitting in the legislature. We won because they now have to play defense in places they thought they owned. Hello, Cobb County and Gwinnett. We won because Donald Trump had to put Georgia on a protect list. You don't have to protect something that you think you already got. And we won because I don't think Georgia has ever seen so many presidential candidates come and camp out here. And they need to be coming back. But I'm here to tell you our work isn't done. We are a purple state. We're already purple. No more of this deep red stuff. We're purple because 54,723 votes in a state of 11 million people ain't much. But we know what we need to do to close the gap. Keynote was kind enough to point out that in the aftermath of the election, I launched an organization called Fair Fight. Because that's what we deserve in the state of Georgia. We deserve a Secretary of State who actually believes in the rights of all eligible voters. We deserve to have counties that are fully resourced. We deserve to have voting machines that work. But we also deserve not to have to fight against voter purges. We shouldn't have to have democracy warriors pushing back against poll and precinct closures. We shouldn't have to explain why you shouldn't move a precinct from a museum to a police department. But we'll explain it if they need us to. And their nice little courthouses in case they need it spelled out. Because we are going to win 2019 and win 2020 and win 2021 and win 2022. And we're going to take the state of Georgia back and we're going to take it forward because this is our state and now is our time. This is our state and now is our time. But I didn't just launch Fair Fight, which has grown to go beyond the borders of Georgia. We're in 20 states, 20 battleground states, because Georgia's a battleground state. But it's not enough for us to fight the next battle. We've got to fight the battle after that, and that's the 2020 census. You see, the Trump administration is doing its level best to erase certain ones of us from the narrative of what is America. Because, you know, if they don't count us, then they think we don't count. If they don't count us, then they think it won't matter when we show up at the hospital demanding the support we need, that it won't matter when our schools are under-resourced and our prisons are overcrowded. But we can solve that problem, Georgia Democrats, because while the census is nonpartisan, I don't have that problem. I know who wants us to count and who doesn't want us to count. And while we are out canvassing for votes, we need to be canvassing for the census and make certain every Georgian gets counted. Because when we get counted, we become a powerhouse in this country. We've been playing along for a while, and now it's time for us to take our own. We don't have to concede poverty in the state of Georgia. We don't have to concede mass incarceration in the state of Georgia. We don't have to concede the stripping away of rights in the state of Georgia. This is our state, and if we show up and we show out, we will take our state back. Thank you so much.